So this little van is super efficient, it's super reliable, and it's perfect for starting a business or just using it for leisure. This is a 2015 Volkswagen Caddy Mk4 ex-British gas model. Is it still worth buying almost 10 years on? So this is the third Volkswagen Caddy that I've owned. I've owned it for about 5 years, and today I'm going to give my in-depth review on what I think about these vans. So I'm going to go through the specs, the features, and I'm going to go through the costs as well. How much they cost to buy, how much they cost to insure, and how much they cost to run, like insurance and tax. So the Caddy I've got here today is the Caddy Maxi, which means it's the long wheelbase version, and it's ex-British gas, which you can tell from the bright blue paint. So being ex-British gas, it's got loads of extra features and loads of higher spec inside the van as well. So the Caddy Maxi has a cargo space of 4.2 cubic meters and it has a load length of 2.25 meters. So you get loads of space in the back of this van, but you're not paying that expensive price tag if you're upgrading to the bigger vans such as the VW Transporter. So it's really nice and nimble to drive around, but you get lots of space in the back. Now, let's be honest, the main reason you're watching this video or consider buying one of these is because it's a Volkswagen. It's got the Volkswagen styling that you're not going to get anywhere else, and it has got the Volkswagen reliability as well. If you look at any other models or brands on the market, you are going to get a van, you are going to get it cheaper, but it's not going to look as cool and you can't customize it as much. If you get another van, it's going to be a white builder's van. It will look kind of cool and do a little bit of styling, but you can't do the customization like I have done on my one here. As you can see, I've done loads of customization to this van on the outside and on the inside as well. You're going to pay a little bit more for that, but it looks so much better. Personally, I do think the Mk4 Caddy is the best one they've got. The Mk3 was cool, but the Mk4 is better. You've got loads of upgrades. It's more aggressive. You've got the better styling, the better trim level, and the better lines on the van as well. Going into the Mk5 Caddy, Volkswagen and Ford did team up, and that's why you've got the strange new shape that looks identical to the Fords. And personally, the quality isn't as good. If you actually tap the Mk5, they're not as solid as these vans. You can push the metal in and out. It's very, very cheap, and it isn't as good. However, customization on those ones that people have done do look pretty good, but it's just a shame that they have changed it so much. So I think this is the last kind of Caddy you're going to get that's going to look this aggressive and have this amazing styling. It goes for the same as the Volkswagen Transporter as well. They have been a massive cult following. You can customize them to any length what you want, from the T4 all the way to T5 and T6, but unfortunately now the T7, they've done a crossover with Ford, and it looks a little bit strange. I don't think it looks too bad, but the main concern for me and the main reason it puts me off is they've teamed up with Ford and all the components on the inside, especially the engine. It's going to be a Ford engine, which is going to have the wet belt engine. The wet belt engine, if you didn't already know, has major issues. The belts break down in the oil and it's very expensive to fix. Just to change the belt alone on a service, I think you're looking at 40, 50,000 miles, which is very, very low. And it's about £1,600 plus VAT. Compared to a standard cam belt and water pump, it's way more expensive. So unfortunately, they've gone down that route. So if you want to get a traditional Volkswagen, then you might want to stick to the old styling, such as this Mk4 Caddy. So the Mk4 ex-British gas Caddy, as standard, does come with steel wheels. They'll be silver steel, and it also comes with black plastic bumpers. So as you can see on mine, I've sprayed the wheels matte black, I've added the wheel arch kit here, and I've sprayed the bumpers blue, so they're colour coded in. But typically, you just get the basic styling, which would be from the factory. Right, so under the bonnet you're going to find a 1.6 litre engine, which gives you 101 brake horsepower and 250 newton meters of torque. So it's a really good little powerful engine. There's plenty of power there to go on any trip, especially if the van's fully loaded with builders stuff, or if you've got loads of camping gear in the back, there's plenty of power there. You can remap these engines as well, so you can do a stage 1 and 2 remaps. I have remapped the 1.6 in the past, and it did improve the economy and the performance, and it changed through the gears a lot better. The fuel economy on this van, it averages about 50 to 55 miles to the gallon. However, personally owning this van, I've averaged about 55 to 65 miles to the gallon. I think the most I've actually got is 75 miles to the gallon when driving around 40, 50 miles an hour in 4th gear. So it's a really good fuel efficient engine. It's super cheap to run, and yeah, it's just brilliant. I've had no faults with this engine. It's been really, really good. So like all cars, you'll have to maintain this engine regularly, but the 1.6 TDI engine is a really reliable engine. It's a great one to have. You do have issues with the EGR valve getting clogged up, especially if you're doing short journeys. I've never had this issue, but if that does happen, you can get an EGR delete. but you just have to be wary of it as well. Timing belt needs to be done every 4 to 5 years, and the last time I got mine done, it cost about £400 to get the timing belt and water pump replaced as well. So just general maintenance, regular oil changes, and putting proper fuel through the engine as well. But this engine is brilliant and super reliable. So let's move on to the next section of why this van is really good. So another bonus to this van is that you get a battery isolator on the inside as well. So this means that the battery will never run flat if you've got internal lights on the van. If the battery voltage runs low, this will kick in and cut the battery out, and then you can simply reset it, the red button there, so you're never going to get a flat battery. Now, I will say the only problem with this engine that I have encountered is there is problematic fuel injectors. So it is known that the 1.6 engines from VW, so that would be in a Skoda, an Audi, a Seat, or the VW here, the 1.6 in fuel injectors can have a problem. It was a fault made from VW. When you're buying this van, you might just want to be wary to have a look into the injectors and then check them out, check the engine, see if the injectors have been replaced, or you might still have the faulty old ones. But that typically is on the older vans. So once you hit the 2016, 2017, they should eradicate this problem and have the new injectors in there, and it won't have that problem anymore. So same as other Volkswagens, you can fully customise these vans on the interior and the exterior, but a simple upgrades that I've done is a bonnet protector here, and I've added some stickers down the side as well. So typically you're not going to get that on the standard Caddy, however it's really cheap to upgrade your exterior to make it look a lot better. So another thing I want to mention is the size of this van. So when it comes to parking, you might be a little bit skeptical, a little bit put off because it is a van. However, this van is actually the same size, or if not a little bit smaller than most cars you'll see on the road today. So an estate car or an SUV is actually bigger than this van. Those cars are typically wider and actually longer than this van. So when it comes to parking it in a car park or a supermarket, something like that, it's actually relatively easy, and it'll be the same as driving a car. However, with this, you've got bigger mirrors to help you out, so it actually makes it a little bit easier. So when it comes to driving this van, it's very, very comfortable. I like that it's got the large mirrors and the parking sensor. Coming out of tight spaces like this, very, very simple and easy to do. It's a little bit like in between driving a car and a van, but I'd say it more handles like a car and drives like a car than it does a van. You're not as high as you would be in a van, but you're not quite as low as a car. The whole van itself is very comfortable to drive, the steering wheel is comfortable, everything's in your reach, and the seats aren't actually that bad either. They are comfortable, especially doing long journeys. 6 hours, 7 hours in this van is very, very comfortable. So the gearbox, the 5-speed manual gearbox, I think it's really smooth. It changes up the gears without a problem, and the power from this van is great as well. So the 1.6 TDI engine with 101 brake horsepower gives you plenty of power that you need. The handling of this van as well, going around the corners, you can't really throw it into the corners like you would in other cars, but it does handle the corners well. It does grip the road well, but it does rock as well. So if you go around the corner too fast, the van will roll on the big chunky tyres. If you have low profile wheels and you do have a van that is lowered, then it might be a big difference on that one as well. And I haven't lowered this van either, so the ride itself is very, very comfortable, and that helps the miles per gallon and the road noise as well. As you can tell, because of sound dead in this van, the road noise is very quiet inside it. It's not a loud van. So a massive issue I have found driving this van is that when you're pulling out on a junction and you're looking to the left out of the passenger side window, if the road is a bit of diagonal behind you and you're a bit of an angle, you can't see out that window at all. You can't see the road at all. You can't see what's coming. So that is pretty dangerous, I think, about this van. Typically in a car, you'd be able to look behind you over your shoulder and see out the other windows or out the back potentially. But in this van, you can't do that at all. So it is quite an issue on that, so I'd just be aware of that when you are driving it. I love having the big windscreen in this van, so it makes it very, very comfortable to drive, and you can see everything that's coming. So the brakes in this van, again, it will depend on the service and the maintenance that the van has had. In this van, the brakes are good. I would say that it does take longer to stop because obviously you've got a lot of weight, you might be carrying things in the back of the van. So you've got to be cautious that when you are braking, it does take longer to stop and it is a bit heavier. So driving the van overall does feel heavier than driving most cars. There is a weight behind it, but that's just the same if you drive any van. So the comfortability of this van is perfect, and I think you've got everything you need with the Bluetooth, the cruise control, the aircon, and if you get a multifunctional display put in as well, it makes a big difference. So as it's an ex-British gas van, you do get 2 sliding doors, and that's super handy. Compared to the other vans where you just get 1 sliding door, you do have the 2 sliding doors, so you can access it from both sides, and it just makes it so much easier, especially if you've got the bed like here, you can get things out underneath the bed. It makes a massive difference. So coming to the interior, coming to the cockpit of this van, you have got the hard wearing plastic, so it's not as comfy as most cars or some other vans, but most commercial vehicles will have this hard wearing plastic. However, I do think this is quite good because it's really easy to clean and it's not going to get damaged so easily. So if you're going mountain biking or surfing, it's really easy to wipe off the dirt or the sand. And if you're a builder as well, it's going to get dirty, so it's nice and easy to clean. I do like the actual interior here, that you have got loads of metal little bits here on the trim, so it just adds and makes the van a lot nicer. You have got a really good touchscreen radio here, so you've got all the radio functions, DAB radio, you have got Bluetooth connectivity, so you can connect with your phone, and then you also got the media put as well, so you can do it through aux and plug it in through the USB cable down here on the charging port, so you can also charge your phone. You've got an SD card slot here, so you can load music into it, or you can connect via Bluetooth to play your music or play a podcast. So the rest of the van on the interior, you have got the gear stick here, so it's a 5-speed manual gearbox in this van. I don't like this gear stick personally. I think it is quite cheap, but again, you can customize this and you can change it out for a nicer one as well. I'd much prefer to have the glass one with a metal trim on it, but this is what it comes as standard as a commercial vehicle. Go to the steering wheel, so you've got a basic plastic steering wheel. Again, this is quite comfy. Again, you can change it, so this van is very versatile, so you can change it. You can put in a multifunctional steering wheel, so you can have all the multifunctional controls here with the Bluetooth connectivity as well. On this van, you've got a multifunctional display, and you can also fit cruise control as well. So the van might not come with a multifunctional display activated or cruise control. However, this van has it all built in because it's got all the upgrades. Being an ex-commercial van, they have all the upgrades, so you can get all that stuff activated and put in. You simply just take off the steering wheel, put the new stalks in, activate it, or you can put it in. You can also do a spindle sweep on the van as well, so as you can see, the spindles do a little sweep there, and then you've got the multifunctional display that you can flick through to show your miles per gallon, how many miles you've got left in the tank, the temperature outside, what speed you're going, and when it's due for the next service as well. These vans also come restricted to speed, so they typically have a speed limit of about 74 miles per hour. You can get that removed as well, so you don't have a speed restriction on these vans. So if you want the extra upgrades inside here, then I would go for the ex-British gas van. Alongside this, you also have the electrical pack as well, so you get rear parking sensors, so you get the park pilot as well. So as you say, you get the park pilot, you get the parking sensors, helps you park. You also get electric wing mirrors and electric windows as well in the electrical pack. So you get a lot more upgrades than you would in the basic Caddy. And the Highline Caddy is very similar, but this is more commercial, so you get the hard wearing plastic as well. Also, another upgrade is you do get aircon in this van as well. So that's really handy in the summer, and it's a massive upgrade. So cost for this van, if you're going to purchase this van in September 2024 and you're going to buy a basic van, you're probably looking at £8,000 to £10,000, and that's 2015, 2016 up to 50,000 miles. However, if you're going to buy on the camper conversion, you add a few thousand more onto it, so maybe £12,000, £13,000. But the price of the vans have dropped considerably at the moment. The market has dropped quite a lot, so you might get a really good deal out there. So the running costs of this van, so the insurance for this van, you're probably around looking at about £500 to £1,000 a year to insure this van, especially if you're going to use it for a camper conversion. However, it depends obviously where you live, how old you are, and what you're going to use the van for, how many miles you're going to do in it. A good company to use is Brentaker, so they are a really good insurance company for specialist van insurance, especially if you've got camper conversions, and they are the cheapest on the market by far. I use them personally and I got a really good deal. The van tax on this van, you're probably looking at about £30 a month to tax this van, so just over £300 a year, and that is due to the way that van tax works in the UK. It's a commercial vehicle and it's a diesel, so you're going to pay a higher tax threshold for this van, so you've got to consider that when you're buying this van as well. However, this van is super economical. As I said, you're going to average 55 to 65 miles to the gallon, so to run this van it's very cheap, especially at the moment because diesel is £1.30 a litre. So on a full tank you're probably going to get 7 to 750 miles depending where you drive and what kind of driving you're doing. If you drive it economically, it's going to be very cheap, and it is a really good van to have, especially that 1.6 TDI engine. So as I mentioned before, these vans have loads of hidden features such as cruise control and a multifunctional display. Have a little scanner like this from Carly, you can actually activate and turn all that stuff on, which is really cool. So it simply goes into the OBD port of your van, and then through the app you can turn on all those features. But not only that, you can run diagnostics on the van as well to make sure everything is running smoothly, but you can also check the history of a car and its mileage to make sure it hasn't been tampered with. So this is really cool. If you're going to buy a new van, you're going to look at a new Caddy or any other van or car, you can plug this in and make make sure that you aren't getting scammed. So that's really, really cool. I'm going to use it loads in the future when I'm buying new vans as well. But I do like the diagnostics as well. So if you go to a garage, typically they're probably going to charge you about £80 now for a diagnostic or code read, which is really expensive. But with this, you can just do it yourself. So if your van isn't running right, or you just want to check the history of it, make sure everything is okay, you can plug this in and make sure everything is going okay. So it's going to save you loads of money. So you can plug this in to the OBD port in your Caddy. So this scanner connects to your phone via Bluetooth, and once it's connected, you can go through the diagnostics of your van to make sure that you don't have any issues. As you can see here on my van, I've done a quick scan and there's a few issues. The other systems here, so the air conditioning, airbag, they're all green, there's no issues on there. So you are going to look at a new Caddy and you want to make sure that it is all okay. You can use a system like this from Carly, check it's okay. So what I like about this app is when you plug it in and use it, it's really easy friendly. The user interface is great on this and it's really easy to go through what you're checking on it. So as I said, you can go through the diagnostics, that's really easy to check. You've got the coding there as well, so you can go through that, so you can check the coding. So go through the compatibility here, it will just run through it and then it will show me all the ECUs that I've got within this van and which ones I can customize as well. So as that's loaded up now, as you can see, there's 6 ECUs that I can use within my Caddy. So what it can do is it'll back up the codes already there and then I can recode it to add extra things as well. So you can go through all these different interfaces. So that's really, really cool. And I really like that feature on Carly. So the other great feature, I think, especially if you're going to buy a new Caddy, you can use the used car check. So you can put in your number plate and the VIN number and you can make sure that the history is fine on it. There's so many features that you can go through. Another one that I think is really good is the engine live data. So you can check the vehicle systems, make sure everything is running properly. So you can go for the ABS, the brakes, the coolant, the cooling, etc, etc. There's the whole system of the car you can go through to make sure it's running properly. So the car that you already own, or if you're going to buy one, you can make sure there's no hidden surprises as well. So the back of these vans is super versatile and you get loads of space. As I mentioned before, you get 4.2 cubic meters of space and you can do anything you want with it. So as you can see, I've made mine into a camper conversion, but you could have it as a mountain bike van, a surf van, a fishing van, or anything you want really, just general maintenance van for loading loads of stuff in. So this van can take a payload of up to 800 kilos, I believe. So there's plenty of power there to carry what you want. But I'm going to measure the van here. So I've done the conversion. I'm going to show you what length I still get even with the conversion. So going to the back of the seats there, you get 225 load length, as I mentioned before. The width of this van here, even though I've got sound deadening insulation and I've done the cladding as well, I've got 130 centimeters, so it's a little bit less at the top because this van is curved. So that is the one thing I will mention, that other vans might be more square, whereas this one, as you can see, does curve up, so you do lose a little bit of space in the back there, but it's not the end of the world. So the height on this van, so mind you, I've obviously put floor insulation in, then I put flooring in, and I've done the same on the top. I've got sound deadening insulation, then I've done a cladded roof as well, but the load height there is 120 centimeters, so you've still got plenty of height. You get inside the van here, sit on the bed. Obviously, as you can see, you haven't got amazing height. I've obviously got 2 cushions here for the bed, so you do lose a little bit of height, but if you take off one of the cushions, you've still got a bit of room. You can sit in here, you could cook in here as well, so it's not the end of the world. But as you can see, I've got the bed here, so I've done it as the camper conversion. I've got the drawer here as well, so this bed is a single bed with the drawer, and it will slide out into a double bed as well. But I really like this van because you can take this bed out and then you can use it just to move stuff around. So you're moving house, you can get a double mattress in here, you can put garden waste in here, everything you're moving. But if you're going mountain biking, you can fit 2 mountain bikes down the side here, depending how big your bed is. Plenty of surfboards, you can put a 7-foot surfboard in here that will go up just between the seats there. So there's loads of room for that, and if it doesn't fit, you can put it on the top, on the roof racks as well. Like I said, you can take this bed out as well, you can have 4 bikes in here. I also like that it's got barn doors on the back here, so you undo these hinges and you can fully open these doors here, so it makes it easier for loading items into the back of the van. You're not going to damage the doors there, and then they simply just click back on like so. As mentioned before, you've got the parking sensors on the bumper there. I've customized it with a bumper protector. But yeah, it's a really versatile van and there's great space in the back of this van. So this little van is super efficient, it's super reliable, and it's perfect for starting a business or just using it for leisure. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.